Hey, everybody. Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you to turn the TV down. Hey, everybody, I'm live. So I'm here a couple minutes early over on YouTube, and I'm about to go live over in my group really quick. So let's do that here real quick. Hope y'all are doing good. Hey, everybody, how are we? So tonight we're talking about sales. You know me, true to my nature, I like to just jump right in, and I don't like to waste any time because I start to feel really weird and awkward. So y'all know me. I'm actually out here in the living room because I didn't feel like being stuffed up in my office, which is actually kind of unusual for me because you all know my introverted nature and wanting to be alone. So I'm just going to embrace it for tonight. And so if you hear some kind of like axe wielding slashing happening, it's because my husband is playing a God of War video game in the living room also. So nothing dangerous happening, just a video game. He's coming to say hi. This is Matlock. He's my husband. If you guys don't know him, drop a comment and say hi to Matlock. So some of y'all are watching over on YouTube. Some of you guys are watching in the Facebook group. Some of y'all are watching on my page. So like I said, let's jump right in really quick, okay? So we're talking about sales, right? So I know a lot of you guys, obviously, the majority of you guys are introverts, okay? So most of you are in my Introvert Women Entrepreneurs group. If you're not and you are an introvert woman who is an entrepreneur, you can pop over to the group that's listed on my page and you can join there. If you're not part of the group, just listen up. You guys can gain some knowledge here about what we're talking about. So we're kind of talking about sales. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's actually kind of funny. You know, there are days when I sell better and there are days when I just suck at sales. And I always find myself in this routine of, sometimes when I have to sell too much, I end up getting overwhelmed, right? And so if you guys know my story a little bit, I used to sell insurance for State Farm. And I mean, I was selling every single day, right? So I had to sell, not just sell, but I had to sell life insurance, okay? And life insurance is just a whole other level of stress when it comes to selling insurance, okay? And at first I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I remember taking the personality test in the beginning, right? When they tell you like what you're going to be good at. And my personality was introverted, of course. And so the test automatically told me that I wasn't going to be good at sales. And so I just kind of had that mindset going into it. And so at first I started off in customer service. And then I guess my boss got super desperate and then put me into sales. And so at first I was just overwhelmed and stressed all the time because, of course, I was an introvert and having constant daily interaction with people, especially trying to sell to them, just totally wore me out. But I came to the point where I had done it so often, especially, throughout about a year's time. I had done it so often that I got confident at selling. But then something happened for me that shifted selling the life insurance from just me being confident to me having conviction in it. And I think this is the number one thing that shifted my mindset when it came to sales. And I stopped just having confidence only because confidence comes from repetition of doing something over and over and over again, right? Conviction comes when you believe and have faith in something. And that really is the defining factor sometimes when it comes to sales and why I think we end up hating sales so much and why it's so hard for us because we don't want to come off sleazy. We don't want to come off pushy. We don't want people to get the wrong idea about us. But here's the thing, if you started a business, you have to sell, the majority of you, so whether it's you're selling a service or you're selling a product, okay? At the end of the day, if you're not making money in your business, then what's the point, right? And you guys have seen, me talk about a little bit about, charities are absolutely 100% important. We have to have them. But when you're running a business, you're not running a charity, right? And when you're running a charity, you're not running a business. So you wouldn't expect a charity owner to be doing everything for money. Well, no, of course not. But you wouldn't turn around and expect a business owner to do everything for free either. And the only way that we can make money from our business is to sell either service, time, or product, right? And what happens is we end up getting so afraid of being sleazy and pushy and we think people are going to hate us. And, it happens a lot with multi-level marketing companies. They have such a bad name But the thing is about it, when people have conviction about the product or the service that they're selling, it doesn't come off pushy. When, just because they are in a multi-level marketing company doesn't mean that it's going to come off pushy or seem sleazy. Okay, and I want to talk to you guys specifically because I know there's a bunch of you ladies in my group that are in MLM, and I wanted to let you know you don't have to appear to be sleazy or pushy. And I know everybody has these horrible ideas that they're pyramid schemes and all this stuff, but they're not. Not all of them anyway, they'll say that. So I want you to have confidence in being able to sell not only your product, but sell yourself. Okay. So, like I said, I switched mindsets from just being confident in what I was selling to having conviction about what I was selling. And the thing that helped me to start having conviction about what I was doing was having a personal experience. So what happened for me is I was selling insurance, I was selling life insurance, and I started getting really good at selling like the really small policies, like a 5-year, $50,000 plan, and I would sell it to just everybody, right? So I would like write an auto insurance policy, and then I would turn around and offer them a 5-year insurance policy, 5-year, $50,000 term policy, right? And I had no problems with doing it, but I didn't have a conviction about it either. I just kind of had confidence because I had been doing it for so long. So then actually, while I was still working in insurance, my dad got sick. Okay. And I remember talking to my mom, and she said that he didn't have any insurance. And it really started me to think, what's going to happen if my dad passes away and there's no insurance? Who's going to pay for the funeral? Who's going to pay for the mortgage when my mom is grieving? Who's going to, I just started going through this whole process in my mind. Right. And then that's really when it clicked for me. It clicked over from confidence into conviction. And what happened is I really started to study out life insurance and plans and what was the best plan for a family, 2 retired people, like how much is the cost of a funeral? I literally went through this whole process in my mind. Okay. And then what happened was the very next person that came into my office, I remember them sitting across from me, and I was going to sell them an auto insurance policy and turn around and sell them a 5-year insurance policy. But then this conviction took place on the inside of me. I just felt it on the inside of me, like, okay, hang on a second. I can't just sell them a 5-year insurance policy because that's not really going to do anything for them, and it's not going to meet their need, right? Because I started thinking about my dad. And, like I said, he had gotten sick and, went through this whole process. In the end, it actually ended up passing away. And, my mom got an insurance policy for him, and it took care of the whole funeral costs and everything. And it made this conviction inside of me even more strong, right, about life insurance. Now, moving on from just insurance sales, this is about any kind of sales that you're doing, okay? So you have to, first of all, love what you're doing so much and believe in what you're doing or the product or the service so much that you feel like you're doing somebody a disservice by not selling to them. And you really have to switch over into that mindset, because what happens is we start doing 2 things. One, we start selling out of everyone else's pockets, right? We start selling out of our own pockets. We start selling out of our own pockets to everybody else. So we're thinking, well, if I was this person, I can't afford this. Well, here's the thing. You're not the one that's struggling with this particular issue or problem or needing this product, right? They are. They decide whether it's worth the money or the effort, right? And you don't. You're to offer it to them, right? So you have to come to the place where you have conviction, not only confidence, but conviction in what you're doing, and where you can turn around and say, if I don't offer them this service or this product or whatever it may be, I'm actually doing them a disservice, okay? And that's the difference between selling with confidence and selling with conviction. And sometimes we really have to get down to the nitty gritty of it and see, okay, do I actually have like conviction in what I'm selling? And a lot of us, we start businesses, just to make money, like I said, and we go along and we start getting totally burnt out and we start feeling worn out and we don't know why, right? But it ends up turning out, maybe you're not doing the type of business that you should be doing. And I think really a lot of times we have to really get down to it and see, is this something that I can not only have confidence in, but have conviction about. Because that thing that you have conviction about is what's going to propel you forward into success, okay? Because you're going to have less burnout, less wear out, right? And you're not going to have to convince yourself over and over and over again to continue doing the job, right? So, like I said, life insurance became all the more real to me when my dad got sick. I just had a personal experience. So, some of you are thinking, well, how does that work for me, right? Well, whatever business it is that you might be doing, okay? Maybe you're selling a product. Does this product, if you don't sell this product to these people, is it actually doing them a disservice by doing it? If it's not, and you're just trying to sell something just to get money, I mean, maybe you are being a little sleazy. Maybe we need to, step back and kind of look at that a little bit. Do you actually believe in the product or the service that you are trying to sell? I think that's the number one thing that we need to talk about, okay? So I think people struggle with it because they don't see the importance of the service or the product that they're trying to sell. So here's the thing. Let's really quick hit on how not to be sleazy or pushy while we're doing sales. So if you have conviction about what you're doing, you're not going to be sleazy. However, also, we want to set up the sale appropriately before we sell it, right? So nobody wants to feel like they just showed up to a used car lot, right? Nobody does, whether you're selling a product or a service. So what happens a lot of the time when you're going to a car lot? I don't know if anybody has experienced this, but I have. You show up to a car lot and they don't know anything about you. They have no idea if you have kids. They don't know if you run a business. They don't know if you're married. They don't know anything about your personal life. And they immediately take you to the most expensive car, right? And they're like, you need this. You need to get this. This is the best car. This is blah, blah, blah. And they start listing off all of these qualities that you have no idea what they are. And you're just standing there like, okay, what the heck? This person doesn't even care about me. They're just trying to sell me the highest, whatever is going to turn around for the most profit for them, right? And that's when you start to feel like you're being sold to, right? So what we need to do is to make sure that we are putting ourselves in our customers, position. How are they seeing us while we're selling? So do you actually care about this person? Do you care about what they're going through? Like how many kids they have, what's going on in their life? Is your product or is your service actually going to meet their need, or is it just going to make you money? Right? So at the end of the day, we have to, like I said, break it down, really break it down and see like, what I'm selling going to do a disservice to them if I'm not selling it to them? Or is it maybe just, it's not for them? And if it's not for them, let it pass. Okay. Because that's when we really start to get into the part of sales, which starts to get sleazy and icky and everybody hates that. And, we don't want to do that. Right. So that's kind of how to get past that as I try to mentally think of what this person is experiencing when I'm selling to them. Right. So, let's see real quick. So like I said, don't try to sell anything that you don't believe in. Don't sell, like for instance, okay, so a lot of times I see, of course, because I'm a business person and an entrepreneur, I get a ton of Facebook ads, about, literally from one thing to the other, but it's just about people who are trying to reach out to entrepreneurs specifically. And I see just ad after ad after ad. And it really makes me wonder because a lot of them are selling these, my 3-step process to making 6 figures or making 7 figures, or how to create a successful course that really sells, or whatever it may be, and it does make me wonder if all of these people have actually accomplished the things that they're trying to sell to other people, right? And I wouldn't try to sell anything that you don't have conviction about or you haven't done yourself, especially if it's a service. That should be pretty obvious, right? Because lying is sleazy. So you don't have to tell everybody everything, okay? And maybe you're just starting off and you don't have a lot of experience, and maybe you don't have reviews or whatever may happen. Don't make them up, okay? Maybe you can just do some things on the side for free so you can start getting some reviews, or start a beta course, or do whatever it may be. Send out a bunch of your t-shirts that you printed and see if people like them, get reviews that way. You don't have to fake it, okay, to get sales, because that's when it starts to become sleazy, okay? So my like I said, when I was selling insurance, a lot of the time you're selling out of your own pocket instead of selling out of theirs. And if you can think of, the need that they have, and if what you're selling them is going to help that problem, right? It's going to help that need. Focus on, instead of focusing on what that person is paying you, okay, focus on what they're getting, okay? So I think that for me was like one of the number one things that I had this mindset shift that helped me. I started selling insurance. Now I'm selling courses, right? And it helps me to focus on really what my customers are actually getting out of what I'm selling. So instead of focusing on the price, focus on the value that you're giving the person. Okay. So, for instance, if we're going to use life insurance as an example, okay, so don't focus on the premium. Okay, don't focus on the price. Instead, focus on this: to have financial freedom for their families if they were to ever pass away. Okay, it eases the burden. It pays for the funeral. They don't. Their spouse doesn't have to work when they're in the early stages of grieving. Okay, you could start a college savings fund with the money. There's just so much value that's added from a life insurance policy. So if you're selling a product or if you're selling a service, whatever it may be, focus on the value and what the customer is getting instead of focusing on the premium that you're asking them to pay. Okay. But here's the bottom line when it comes to paying. Okay. Customers who pay attention. So that's why we ask people to pay, right? So, we can't go on doing everything for free all the time. Now, for me, I always aim to serve first and sell second, because I do believe in what I'm doing. So I believe that I'm helping women change their mindset when it comes to sales and introversion and becoming an entrepreneur. And I really, really believe, in what I'm doing. And when I'm asking somebody to pay for my services, it's because I want them to pay attention. So when somebody pays, they start paying attention, right? They're putting stock into it, which means they're going to turn around and take action, okay? So if we're consistently and constantly giving out free content all the time, which of course is important, to build your customer base and stuff, but if that's all we're ever doing, there's a lot less action taken, right? So when you have stock into something, when you pay for something, you start really caring about it a lot more, right? It's like the difference between renting a house and owning a house. So when you rent your house, at the end of it, it's just kind of like, well, it's not my house really, so maybe I'll pay the fee for them to shampoo the carpets or do whatever. But when you own a house, you really start to care about it and take ownership of it, right? And that's what happens when people pay for your services, or maybe they pay for your product, whatever. They've put stock into it. And that's why we as entrepreneurs have to ask for the sale. Because when we ask for the sale, they in turn take stock into the product or the service, and then they start doing. And we all know that doing is what brings results, right? Not just watching informational, videos or getting knowledge here and there or doing whatever. If we don't actually take action, then our customers aren't going to get results. But they're not going to get results unless we step out and actually ask for the sale, okay? So this is like a mindset shift that you really have to get into, okay? Let's see here really quick. Wanted to hit on your messaging when it comes to what you're selling. Okay, so whether you're selling, a service, maybe you're a coach, maybe you're selling a product, maybe you have a brick and mortar business, whatever it may be, make sure your messaging is really aligned with the promise that you're giving to your customers. So for instance, this kind of goes back to what I was saying about all the ads that I see all the time on Facebook saying like, how to become a 6-figure or 7-figure business owner, within 30 days or whatever. They're all making these promises, right? But at the end of the day, that's their message. Okay. Their message to you is, I can make you a 6-figure business owner within 30 days, or, this product will do this, thing for your skin or make your hair grow or whatever. Okay. That's their messaging. But then when you take their messaging and actually buy into their product, if your promise that you made them doesn't line up with the messaging, right? That's when you start becoming sleazy. Okay. Because really what you're trying to do is just turn around a profit. instead of actually getting them results. Okay. And so what we need to do is make sure our messaging is aligned with the promise that we're giving our customers. So if you have tested out a particular strategy to get more follows or more likes on Instagram, okay, if that's what you're doing and you've tested it out and it's tried and it's proved, and you put that into your messaging, and then somebody buys your product or buys your service, okay, and then they see the results and it's equal to the promise that you made, then they're fans for life. Okay. You have reoccurring customers after that, right? But if our messaging isn't aligned with our promise, people automatically distrust us, right? That's when people start asking for refunds and all of this different things, right? So we really need to make sure that our messaging, when we are setting up the sale, we need to make sure that our messaging is aligned with the promise that we're giving our customers, okay? So, and then the last thing, really quick, I wanted to talk to you guys about how I decide to charge for my services, because I wanted to hit on this because somebody's specific question that they asked me. What I actually like to do is kind of a little bit backwards, I feel like, but it works for me, and I've seen it work for other women as I've taught them as well. So when it comes to how much I charge for my services, so I actually like to think of it backwards. So what I do is say if I create a course, okay, and I decide first how much I want the course to be. So I figure out, okay, I want it to be a $500 course, or I want it to be a $1,500 course. And then I decide how much content or how much value I'm going to put into that course. How much is $500 worth of content? So instead of coming up with a course and creating, just content from the beginning to the end, literally just brain dumping your brains to oblivion into this course or whatever it may be, and then trying to figure out how much is going to be worth or how much to charge, start with a price point. So if you want to sell a $500 course, or if you want to sell a $500 service, right? Or maybe it's a $4,000 a month service, whatever it may be. It can be from here to there. Decide what your price point is that you want to do first, and then decide what you want to put into that package. So for services, or whether it's a bundle deal or whatever it may be. Okay. So that's how I do it. And I wanted to let you guys know because somebody asked me that specific question in the group. And so just at the end of the day, my number one mindset trick that I use before I start selling. So like you guys know, I'm an introvert. Okay. So, I legit get burned out from human interaction. It just happens. Okay. Whether it's my family, it might be my kids, it could be a coworker, it could be whatever. Human interaction in general just straight up burns me out. And I actually need several hours to either charge, like pre-charge or recharge after I've been a part of some social, interaction. And so that includes getting on a sales call. That includes selling face-to-face. That includes meeting a customer. That includes getting live on Facebook. It really just includes anything that has social energy to it. And so my number one mindset trick before I sell, I do two things. Okay. One, I give myself time to pre-charge before I do it. And I'm speaking to the introverts here because that's what I am, introvert entrepreneur. I help introvert women entrepreneurs master their mindset for business, okay? So I give myself the amount of time, whatever amount of time it is that I need. I usually need about an hour or more to pre-charge before I sell, because I want to be the best version of myself when I show up to sell. Because what happens is if you show up worn out, people feel that energy and you're not, as energetic, and people take that as not having conviction. Sorry. So what we need to do is give ourselves time to pre-charge before we sell. So that's number one. And then number two, I do legitimately pray that the right people come to me and that I am doing my best to do the best for my community and the people that are in my community, the audience that I have built. And I legitimately pray that the right people come along, because I don't want to end up selling something to people who don't need it, or it's not the right time for them. And so what I found is that by giving myself time to pre-charge, and then by really focusing and praying that the right people will come to me as an opportunity for me to help them, I've found that sales has become a lot easier for me. But I have to do it in the right process or else it becomes super frustrating. And I totally understand that because I was there. Okay. And honestly, if I don't give myself that time to pre charge before I do a sale, at the end of the sale, I'm always wishing I would have had time to charge before because I can even feel my energy level like going down. I don't know if you guys can. I can tell you right now, my energy level is it's decreasing at the moment because I've already been going live for 25 minutes, okay? And so I know myself, okay? So you really have to get into the trenches and start to figure out yourself as a salesperson. How much time do you need to charge up before a sale? Okay, so I'm telling you, like I said, I've been going live for 25 minutes, so I can already start to feel my energy level like it's going down. Okay, so I know myself. I've considered this before going live, right? I give myself time to pre-charge before I do this, and I don't want you guys to ever feel like just selling in general is sleazy or pushy because it's not. It's doing it right, doing it correctly. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Why we struggle with selling so much, especially as an introvert, how to not be sleazy and pushy, how to sell with more confidence, and to also have conviction while you're selling, how I decide to charge for my products and services, and then making sure that your messaging is aligned with your promise for your customers. And then, of course, my mindset trick that I gave you guys about staying pre-charged before a sale. So that's all we talked about tonight. I hope this was helpful for you. Will you guys drop me a comment below and let me know if you're watching this on the replay? Let me know if you have any questions. Send me a DM or a comment here. And then I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a great night. Bye. Hey everybody on YouTube. So I am just popping back over really quick. Was live in both my group and in YouTube as well. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, really quick, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be going live more often actually in the YouTube. On YouTube. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.